So, welcome back to another episode from Thousand Miles AI. So, your presenter is me, Praveen, and Shibin here today. And today we are continuing with our decoding a GitHub repos. It's a third episode. So, we already talked about two exciting projects in the last week, and today we are going to talk about even more viral project than what we had already seen. I mean, we had already something else in the pipeline, but today we are kind of forced to talk about it because in the last 1 week, it's already 160K, 170K around stars. I didn't check today morning, but it's already going viral. The project is nothing but DeepSeek harness. So Shibin, again, just wanted to say I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's a really good project, but I feel people are becoming more and more acceptable in trying out new things, right? I'm thinking more and more people are getting into this stuff, following this, and they're trying out as soon as they can, and no one wants to get left behind. So it's kind of a FOMO. I don't know. What is your take? I don't know. Let's hear about that. But this is my take. It's kind of people don't want to miss out anything. They want to be the first users and get into that. And this is also something I want to tell our viewers, be curious, explore it, explore stuff. And yeah, this is my take, Shibin. So let's hear yours and get started into the session. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there is an uncertainty, right? Whenever there is an uncertainty, there is a, huge rush. Also, it's more of a race also, right?
Mm.
And people are panicking also, learning. I think in a way it's good. So whenever there was a technology shift, right, like the cloud shift happened, everybody got, most of the people before that was on premise, like doing a lot of other thing. Whenever you shift to cloud, there are other aspects play in picture, like the security is more important there. Also permission management. People were learning, upskilling continuously. That's the story of entire software development cycle and history.
Yes, exactly.
Hopefully, last time most of the people could upskill themselves. I hope that will happen this time as well. That is only.
But this time the acceleration is too fast, or I don't know if we are also riding the wave. We feel that, but yeah, it's getting more and more exciting, and at the same time, a lot of new stuff to explore. Yeah, let's get into the topic then. So what is your initial thought? Okay, let's put it out, right? What is a DeepSeek harness? Just to give a short intro for our viewers.
Yeah, let's avoid all this chit chat. I think people want to learn the things right as soon as possible in an as short time as possible. So most of the viewers, if you're watching the live, I'm assuming you know some basic of harness. Most of you might have already learned about it, or you might have already have a deeper understanding. For wider audience perspective, or for the wider audience, I'm just giving an abstract idea, like models, any LLM model you see, right? If you directly use it, it's a dumb system. You just text in and text out. So harness is like how to use this system to get a better output. Like, say for example, like your Claude code, the most of the people are maybe interacting with the LLM via some coding agent, or like some tool like Claude desktop, or like maybe I think OpenAI also has similar product. They may be interacting to the LLM by some or other tool. That's nothing but harness. So what happens is you're not sending text one by one, right? You have a history, context, and there is a context compaction happening. There are tools associated with it, MCP associated with it. All this ecosystem around is nothing but harness. In simple terms, there are you can read about the actual definition if you want, but in simple term, layman term, this is harness. And DeepSeek has released something new. It's similar pattern, but they have some interesting architecture pattern. Let me start sharing screen. Oh,
Yeah. So I just wanted to give some examples. So I think probably everyone, many of them have heard about Cloud Code, Codex, right?
Praveen, give second. I will rejoin. I
Yeah,
joined from Chrome. Yeah. So
yeah, that's fine. So you might have already heard about Codex and Gemini CLI and Cloud Code. And at the same time, these are all mostly proprietary. Like you don't get to see how they tie around the model, how they use the model, how often, how they build the system around it. But when you look at, there are harnesses like Pi and open code, which are like open source. Pi is very lightweight, like they give you very minimal setup where you can put your own ideas on how the harness should work. So that is also very interesting project. So you can take a look. And yeah, Shibin, if you are ready, then I was just
yeah.
explaining
Sorry, folks.
different types of harnesses we have and what someone can get started in. And yeah,
Hopefully, you can see my Firefox.
yes, I can see
I
your,
already opened a couple of links before, but let me start with the project itself. So this is the GitHub repo.
yeah.
I think
So
you said 160, 19.
yesterday I checked, it was 162 or something. It's already
I think in
170.
Star
Yeah.
History they didn't add, is it? Okay. As Praveen mentioned, right? It has in only like less than a month, like couple of weeks. So it's already in 160, and if you can see this number of forks, right? It's like 18K already. So that is the level of importance this project has. What I feel is like it's a system which can be extended very easily. That is the beauty of this harness. And of course, it's open source. People can contribute, improve it, compared to Claude Code, any other harnesses. One other harness I like personally is Pi. It's similar to Claude Code. Some of you might have already heard about it. It's a minimal harness system. You can extend, you can create plugin, extend sort of things. It follows the same philosophy, but it has bunch of things already built into the system. So, and this project is a classic example of monorepo. I know most of you are software engineers, but we have some active listeners from other fields as well. For their understanding, monorepo in a layman term is people used to have multiple repository for individual project, and there will be a way you can combine all this thing. Instead of you're putting all this multiple project into one code base. In a layman term, that is monorepo, and you have some tool to combine everything.
Mhm.
So this is a classic example of
I think,
monorepo.
yeah, Shibin, I think monorepo is very well adapted in big organization, right? Like if I'm not wrong, Google is heavily.
The Google has monorepo. Or, I don't know. They have large code base. It's monorepo only, but it's very complicated system.
Okay.
Like all the code bases in one big repo. Whether to call it as monorepo is it's very I don't know. It's a debatable topic, but for this project, I mean, I would show you rather than talk about it. Say, for example, if you maybe app is not a so basically I will show you what they have, right? Maybe let me reshare my screen.
Yeah.
I installed locally, so I'll first show you what it means. You can still see my screen, right?
No. I think you had to share again.
So I'm not entering the key. I restarted. I cleared the system and I'll just configure it later. So this is what it has. Okay, in the front end side. So as you can see, it's very similar to chat, not ChatGPT. I don't know. I don't remember the exact tooling they have, but it looks like Claude Code, right? Not Claude Code. The Claude Cowork or the Claude usual chat thing. So basically, you can add things, directory, work with. You can add and tooling permission you can manage. So you basically have a front end to it. There is a back end and there is a harness, right? That's what this tool, like you can do chat, you can do whatever the things, and you can build your own plugins. We'll talk about what the. So let's get into the monorepo part, right? So if you go to the packages, if you open any of it, this itself is a full project. It will have SRC index. I mean, I know if you're a software engineer, you might have already understood this. It looks like another GitHub repo, right?
Yeah, it already has its own code, testing part, everything bundled together. Yeah.
This is what I meant by like monorepo. Like you have multiple things, independent things, and there is a framework. They're using, I think, PNPM, but there is a framework to combine and build as a single artifact if required.
Yeah.
So all these packages are individual repos. You can swap it out easily. I think inside also it's monorepo. The tree of monorepos. I mean, tree of repos.
Got it.
Okay. In simple terms, that's all you have to get. Like most of the people are favoring to monorepo. The special reason is like if you have full context for LLM to discover, it's very easy to do. That is the main reason.
It makes sense. Yeah, because you don't have to combine multiple repos. You just keep everything under one repo. If your harness again wants to read something, it just searches relevant parts, reads it, put it in context. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, most of the larger organization which doesn't have this kind of setup trying to mimic this monorepo thing. When I was trying in my own company.
Got it.
So this is a well-structured repo. All docs are parked here. And they have agent. I mean, if you see in the actual project, they have agent.md and CLAUDE.md. I mean, it's a cross-reference. Let me show you the agent.md. So it has all the references, everything. I mean, it's not supposed to be read by us, but it is well structured, repo or the project. So if you want to read anything, like, of course, we can't talk about all the things. You can go to docs and read about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first thing, if you want to read anything, of course, you can use LLM. But if you want to read it by yourself, like find out which is your architecture document and start reading from there, right? So this is architecture document, and they talk about something like codebase. This is a core of this project, right? So this is the framework. I think this is by DeepSeek itself. If you go they have documentation. It's based on a paper. So what it means is they're unifying all the concept into something called context. So context is a culmination of, or context plus service is a culmination of three things here. What I would say is like Okay, let me step back a bit. So some of you might not be aware about what does plugin means, right? So plugin, in layman terms, if you want to understand, plugin is nothing but you have Chrome extension, Firefox plugin, everything, right? So you have bunch of functionality. You want to load and unload some of the functionality as and when you want. It's a design pattern itself. So basically, you have a core system. Core system allow you to plug and play the things. In layman term, that is the idea of plugin architecture or pluggable architecture, whatever the things.
Yeah,
Code
in
is
like for example, in browser, if I have to give an example, like I used to use Translate, Google Translate. So I want to read some other language. So you have a plugin, you just activate it, then it works for that time. Yeah, plug and
exactly.
play. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is also a sort of the core of this entire harness is also a plugin architecture paper. So it has some concept of service and context. What does it allow you to do it? It's a central place. The context is a central place where you can do three things. One is the service registration. Say, for example, you are installing something in the Chrome, right? Extension. There should be a way for Chrome to identify it. Like you usually in Chrome and all, what happens is it takes and put it into a specific directory, and it will have like some file format like metadata or YAML or something, so it can identify what to load, what I can load, and all this thing. So this is the first part provide. So service discovery. Then the second part this framework dictate is the message passing mechanism. That is like if you want to pass some information, like how the events get passed. Say, for example, uh, you have two plugins. One plugin saying that I have this information X. Uh, what could be a good example? I could say, I don't know. I'm unable to think a good example or
Mhm.
my head. Uh,
Yeah, that's fine. I think.
yeah. So basically, think think of it like away teamwork, right? You have a manager in between. You pass the message to manager, and manage pass it. Manager is something like service plus context or context here. So, and if you want to get some information, you always like ask manager like whenever and manager send a mail, you might not read all the emails. If it's specific to your topic, you read, right? The message deliveries also work like this. There is a message type where all the listeners, if I am interested in that particular message, I'll say I am interested in this particular message, and whenever there is a message of that type, I get that notification. So and let's take care of it. So you basically tell I am interested in this XYZ message.
Okay.
Then you automatically get it. So that is the message delivery mechanism. Also, whenever you want to publish message of this type, you tell the system rather than you telling directly. So the system middleman or manager is a good example. System act as a manager. So this you basically don't care about all this message passing, right? And the last and most important part it has is nothing but uh, the event, the replayability of the things, or like what it essentially means is like it's a bit software engineering side, but what it essentially means is you add a plugin, you remove a plugin. The plugin usually does some actions, right? Uh, the translation example you told might not be a good one. Say, you have an extension to post a Facebook post. You click a button, you post a Facebook post, right? So the action can't be reverted, right? Like delete. This is also not a very good example in this specific scenario. Some of the action cannot be reverted, but whenever you remove the plugin, things doesn't go back. So this
roll
code
back
is
to previous state of.
So it enforces that. So basically, whenever you register on like a plugin, you have to say like what should be the rollback action for this. So whenever the plugin get deregistered due to XYZ reason, so there are like multiple cases it can get deregistered. Say for example, I say I have a dependency on plugin B failed, then you may get deregistered or deactivated, or your plugin might have been deactivated by user itself. In all this case, the system should be able to roll back. So these things are what it mentioned in code is like, it's a very interesting read. It's bit on the software side. You can, I think it's where is the paper? I think yeah. We can probably attach this, but read this. You can read the full paper. I mean, they created a GitHub also, but it's term is complicated. Temporal composable.
Spatiotemporal composability.
Yeah. What does it means is like it can be reverted. Like it can be composed without in a pluggable architecture. You can compose it, and it can be reverted. Action can be reverted
without any side effects or
yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Side effect could be there, but all the traces can be removed. Basically, because some of the action, like if you create a plugin to maybe Facebook account delete, right? I don't know. The DHS harness doesn't won't have it, but assume some crazy person instead of creating an NCP created a plugin itself, which has a Facebook account deletion. You might not be able to do it, right? There may be some actions by plugin which can't be reverted, but you are forced to advertise it and do an action. You can decide as a plugin, you can decide this cannot be reverted. But don't be scared by this crazy terms. In simple terms, these are very simple to understand. People are very good at
they just want to put some fancy name, so people get more attention. I don't know what's their motive, but yeah.
Software engineers are the second worst namers. First is, I would say, product team. they have, I think they don't have naming issue. They have acronym overload issue. There are like millions of things like ASL, BSL.
Just like a lot of acronyms.
Okay. Jokes apart, that is the high level architecture. And it's what the best part of this architecture, due to this architecture, what you get is like pluggability or composability of the things. Like you can write the things in a very neat way. You can spread it across multiple monorepos and as a part of the core architecture, they have systems which load this plugins and like maintain the state and everything, right? That's part of the harness itself, but it's very easy to move in and out. Like the plugin can be moved in and out very easily. That is the best part of it. The worst part of it is it's very complicated to understand. I mean, after listening this talk for 10 minutes also, you might have been still confused. You have to really try to understand code is to understand the full thing. Like even the tutorial to add the things is also pretty complicated. I would say. Since LLM is writing the code, it could be easy. But as a human, if I have to think about the old way of writing, right? I read the documentation and right, it could be pretty tiring to do.
Got it.
So those, I think those are the main pros and cons here. Let's look into the architecture one more time. And one interesting thing I would say is how they load and unload the things. So basically, it is trivial if you understand the things. What it does is like any plugin can have dependency on any other plugin. So at the load time, what they does is like they create a structure, tree structure, create a dependency tree out of it, and like start from the bottom part and start loading the things. I mean, classic computer science algorithm things. So it's trivial one. Yeah, but it's some good architecture pattern I saw whenever I was like reading through the code. Let's go back to the docs, and you guys can read this architecture. It's pretty well written. They have this kind of components. So basically, there is a session store. I would say session store is part of all the harness. So whatever you see in the chat GPT or something, right? Whenever you open back your chat, whenever you send a message to the chat, all the chat history, all the tool call, all the events are stored in a database, in a immutable system. So that's what session means. And they have like system prompts, and they have tools, usual stuff, agents, agent loops. Any of this plugin can be like, you can extend and remove. It's pretty configurable. In a configuration file, you store and say, I want this XYZ to load this instead of other thing.
Okay.
So you can
also define your own and bring if you want.
For each of the thing, like how to write an LLM provider, they have all these tutorials. I would say what I feel, the clarity came from this extensibility. Like if I have an open source project, or like if I have closed source project also, which need all this infrastructure or the base of our harness system, you can just copy and extend it.
Got it.
That's why I think like all this forks and this many stars happened in a very short time. These are usual suspect. I hope you guys you might have heard all these terms. We can have like,
I mean, the thing is, if I think of it, like everyone is trying to build maybe their own architecture and everything. And when they see something more standardized, people are also very much interested in adapting this to their projects, right? As you mentioned.
Yeah. People used to write, I think I still remember whenever this LLM came to picture, right? People used to write their own libraries for all this multi-provider and all those things. Now it's like all this consolidated to like, very few, like 10 or 15. Like Python, you have like 3 or 4 options now. I mean, there are more, 3 or 4 major options. You want to go beyond it, like TypeScript also same thing. Similar thing, all this harness architecture also, I think will get unified, like some or other party.
So I think this is just again beginning of this, right? So more and more people use it. They give their feedbacks, and iteratively, it will get better over time. So
exactly,
again, that's the whole point of putting it in open. So people experiment. If it breaks, they can suggest something better and further bring their contributions. Yeah,
correct. So you can see in the document itself, right? It has its own saying like, okay, if you want to add a new provider, you have to register adapter on context.llm, add facing capability, add step execution. It's pretty extensive. So you can extend everything, like add a model facing, add a UI integration, add a shell execution, persistent terminal execution, human command. Like these are like special message type. So you can extend it to anything. And also you can like register more session which provide a different type also. Like you can register your own type also. So let's, I think too much talking. I'll just show. I would say it's, I had two mind when we committed for this particular approach. One thing is it's bit hard to understand and explain, but we still, I think we had this discussion, right, Praveen? We still went ahead with this because it's a good motivation for you to, get started.
Exactly.
So I will just, on that note, I will just show one implementation. Maybe we can pick anything. I checked like, so it was in packages. So all of these are plugins. You can swap in, swap out. So I'll show maybe a simple one. Where will I? Maybe we can check MCP, how they did it. I didn't check before. So going back to the monorepo, this MCP client is monorepo. Now you go to SRC. So I have read through the documentation. So basically there are like couple of ways you can create your own plugin. The one way is sorry, this could be very complicated. Yeah, one way is like you create a function like this, or you extend a class. So basically, you create an apply function which take a context config things. Then you have to write two functions. One is effect. Whenever you apply something, what need to be done, and one is I don't think they have implementation for that. And you can see there is a specific way to what variable, like if you have inject, this means what all it requires, like this particular plugin, what are all the other plugins,
the dependent plugins.
Correct. So this is what we were saying, right? It identify the chain and like load the thing before that. So that's how it identified. Also, it in that function, if you see what all it requires as an input, also what all the message type it should receive, also it defines. I think easiest way, I didn't know that this implemented like this. Easiest way is to check the class way of handling. Maybe something new may have. I would say maybe web could be an example. Web fetches. I'm expecting at least this will have the class implemented. I forgot which one had the class. Oh man, this also have apply thing. Sorry, folks. Let's go to web something new, maybe web search, web search. Praveen, take a guess. Maybe this one could be new, right? I mean, you see, right? People started implementing everything. I said, no. So it's pretty. So now you are not writing the code, right? So you have a pluggable ecosystem. LLM can write the code, past, you only had to say like, okay, refer this particular pattern and write it up. Here is the
Yes.
documentation. So
Yeah, you all. That's why we have this AGENTS.md. It like whichever harness again you want to use, Cloud Code, Beat, Codex, etc. They just know where to check for the architecture, the conventions, test how to extend them. All these documents are there. And even I saw somewhere, right, in the repo, they are clearly saying, okay, this is not meant for like a human to read everything and do. We are positioning the
yeah,
repo
yeah, yeah.
itself for an agent to work. Like that's how things are going. So it makes completely perfect sense. Like an agent
Yeah,
is
this as a
should be
human,
able to easily work with this.
it's impossible to, read this mess and make sense out of it, right? Like you
Mm.
have so much code. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is the other way
So
of
yeah,
doing. Finally, I found it.
mm,
So you
find it.
extend the service and you have the constructor, you define couple of functions. Where is it?
Mm.
This is the name it is advertising, and so I think I have to go to the base implementation. Maybe I should have done this earlier. Getting some
Yeah,
good
I
X
think
out
it's
of it.
also fine. Like we probably, I am pretty sure this will transform into something else in a few weeks. Then we can also do what happened before and what changed. So then we can also go much more deeper. So today the whole idea was again to just give the base core idea, right? And this is also something which was trending recently. So we wanted to introduce the core ideas. But if, yeah, we can also look deeper and show some example
Yeah, this
in the next
this
session
is
as
not
well.
for a human to read. I should have opened my cloud code. I think
Yes,
sub-agent
yes.
provider
I mean, we
has
have to sometimes, yeah,
inheritance.
accept, accept that.
So what you have to think, right? Like you see this many, like in the sub-agent provider is a plugin. From there itself, they have, developed these many plugins. Now
Hmm.
you wait for a couple of more weeks with this code is architecture, right? Which is easily pluggable and easily reversible architecture.
Mm.
Temporal, I forgot the name, the temporal compo-
Spatio-temporal composability.
composable. Due to that architecture decision they have taken, due to that architecture decision, it's easy to extend. Now you see it's going to expand, explode, and become a new thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm at least expecting. So keep an eye on it. I would
Mhm.
say uh, read all the docs if possible. So as I mentioned, everything is well structured. I think at least this is for, even though it's for AI readability also, it's for human to read also. There is a persistent session, there is a design doc.
Mm.
And they are going to add more and more plugins. And of course, you can also extend and add it. So
Yeah.
only takeaway I want you to have it. Things are moving very fast, right? And this new architecture and composability is taking one of the project to another level. So
Mm.
what I would recommend you people to do is keep an eye on these projects. It will help you in future. I mean, for fun, for hobby also, you can project, like play around and extend this one, right? Also,
Yeah.
architecture pattern, what we have discussed, the code, like we have spent like 10-15 minutes on it, right? It's very interesting. Go ahead and read about it in depth, and why that architecture pattern choices they implemented, like especially the reversibility of the things, how it important.
Yeah. So yeah, no, like I think I also align very much with this. So you should see this as a type of blueprint to achieve this harness, like how you can build a harness, and it has a lot of ideas, right, on different aspects, like how things can be connected and how different tasks like can be achieved. So this can be a motivation for different people to, like, there might be some small takeaway from this project, which might hugely help in some other project. So yeah, that's what, like, I also think we should just, if we have time, we explore a few repos like this, we get better understanding of how to build new projects. Yeah, that's my take as well. Then
Oh man, it already it went beyond DeepSeek V3.
yeah, yeah.
Like, this is crazy, you know.
So yeah, maybe the fours are also
No, this is,
very high.
V3 was so long. R1
So
is like
long,
very old.
2025, and I think these are all model releases. Probably DeepSeek Coder. I don't know. So I think there should be some. Yeah, people found it valuable to.
No, it's a for our project, right? Like 1000 miles AI open source projects, we build some sort of harnesses like agent loop and everything. I mean, it was
Mhm.
lightweight also, so we have
Yeah.
did that way. But if you have a framework like in database accessing, right? Most of us
Yes.
don't do SQL query anymore. Like we mostly like
Mm.
use an ORM system. Like
Yes.
depends on the language, right? That abstraction has helped us a lot. Thinking
Mm.
about this translation, optimization, managing. Like if you don't have this architecture, you have to maintain the chain of this plugin, message passing. Then you have to, assume one stop. Now you have to manage the dependency to stop. That may be
Mm.
uncertainty. So I feel this has a potential to be one of the base of harness building. Let's see where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, that's interesting. Another we finish like looking into another interesting repo. So yeah, we don't know what we are going to look next, but if you have any special preferences, please let us know. And Shibin, again, thank you for spending this time. And I think we just started looking into it, and I think if we see a huge change in coming weeks or in a month or so in the same project, we will do this again and discuss about what changed from today and
Let's
I
keep
don't
a
know
date.
when we are.
Remind me. It's like Reddit
Remind
remind.
me, yes, yes. I think we
Let's.
should do that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I am like excited to like looking forward for the next repo which we will be exploring. Until then, thanks Shibin, thanks for joining today, and it was a great session
Bye-bye.
and good insight. And please like and share, subscribe to our channel for more such interesting decoding videos. And till then, bye from us.